Okay, for 4 years, right, I have wanted exactly this. Two clocks on my desk, one with the time where I am here in the UK and one usually with New York time, but maybe other cities, depending on who I'm working with. For 2 years, nearly, I've had it and didn't realise. Whereas also for about the same exactly the same vague 2 years, I kind of been aware, but never got around to thinking about how I also have this on my iPhone, and so do you probably. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and who write on Macs and iPhones and iPads, except the Monday videos. I should mention those again. Workshop videos on Mondays, they're all writers. Do subscribe, because we have so much to talk about, of course, and actually in this case so much more than I thought of, because all of this, the clock stuff, this is standby mode on iPhones. In theory, it works on all reasonably recent iPhones. In practice, yeah, no, not so much. In truth, really, the iPhone has to have MagSafe for a start. That's the magnetic charging that means you can just slap it onto a charger. I don't know what that noise was, but something like that. Slap it on the charger, it makes a noise, it stays there. So that actually immediately rules out the new iPhone 16e, which has no MagSafe. You can get MagSafe cases for the iPhone 16e, and I presume that would fix it, but thickness of the I don't know. Also, people keep saying that as long as you've got MagSafe, that's it. This thing called standby works. You've got a free desktop clock or whatever, and it's kind of true, but not usefully true. Because unless your phone also has an always-on display, you'll get this standby thing for 30 seconds, a minute, maybe up to 5 minutes, depending on your settings, and then it's just going to switch off, which is worthless. Whereas with an iPhone that has MagSafe and has an always-on display, standby is worthful. So for now, at time of recording, that means the Pro and Pro Max versions of the iPhone 14, iPhone 15 and iPhone 16. With any of those, go to settings, make sure standby is turned on. There are other options, but I'll shrug about them for now. And now pop your iPhone onto an upright or a kind of reclining MagSafe charger. Walk away. I can't tell you exactly what you will get on the screen of your iPhone the first time you do this, because I've fiddled with it like mad. I just don't remember what the first thing is. But it is definitely going to be one of three things. A single clock, a photo with a clock in the corner, or a split thing with a clock on one side and something like the date or maybe the weather on the other. You can change pretty much all of this to some extent. And almost all of it works, actually, but not all. Whatever is showing on your standby iPhone screen, you can swipe left and right to switch between the three options. In any of them, you can then press and hold to start fiddling a bit, changing some small things, adjusting. So with photos, for example, pressing and holding pops up a selection of photo albums, I think typically 5. There will be ones that the iPhone has chosen, if that doesn't freak you out, but tap on the plus sign and you can specify another one to add. You can specify an album you want shown, and then you get 6, however many you choose. The photos from that album will then be shown one after another, quite gently segueing between them. So I suppose actually if you just want like a photo album, just one single image, you make an album with just that in. You can't create albums here in standby. You can only select existing ones you've made in the photos app. Fine. So you tap to select an existing one, or you tap the tiny little X when you can finally spot it, close without selecting anything, and then you can swipe up to the albums on offer and either tap in the middle of an album's image or just tap on done, and you've got yourself a photo album on your desk. A photo album on your desk that changes. Or you'll have the clocks, and the idea is the same really thing is, but then it gets slightly more customizable with clocks. Swipe away from photos to this clock. Press and hold to switch between 5 different clocks. This time, that's it. You don't get to add a different clock design here. You take what Apple gives you and you like it. Except if you tap on the little button there, you can change the color a bit. Here it's changing the second hand and the day of the week to another colour. It's very obvious, isn't it? Tap done when you're done. Now, actually swipe away from that, swipe past the photo albums, and you're onto this. I don't know what to call it actually, except it's what I've been using now. Well, actually, it's been what I've been after for years, to have this set of 2 clocks. But even after I was doing something where I think I had to show somebody standby, I showed them. I thought, do you know, I ought to make more of this myself, and so I have done. I did it for, but even then, it took me a time to realise just what I could do. By default, right, this clock, this particular version of the clock shows your clock, yes, and that's on the left. And on the right, I can't remember now if it defaulted to showing me, it could have been a list of reminders, that's one possibility, or a calendar, or a weather where I am, or weather wherever I choose. Whatever you've got on this screen, you've actually really got 2 things, 2 elements, 2 widgets, as they're called. Press and hold on the right side and you can swipe through a list of possible widgets to replace there, or on the left to replace that one, but I do it on the right. Swap to a widget for the calendar, the weather and all that. Choose the weather and you're prompted to say where you want the weather would be. Curiously though, you can't get out of this one by just tapping on your choice of widget the way you can your choice of clock or photo album. I just don't know why, but you have to actually find the done button and tap that. I did that. I left it like this for days and I was very happy, thank you, until press and hold on one side or the other. Again, I did it on the right. Instead of swiping through the provided list of widgets, you can tap the plus sign at top left. Seriously, if you knew this, why didn't you tell me? Now you get a list of all apps on your iPhone that come with widgets that in theory can be used here. Pick any one you fancy, then tap on it or tap done and you're set. There it is, in theory. In practice, I think some widgets look a bit daft, but then also some just don't work, and I don't know why. But one possibility actually was you can add another clock, a different clock. Press on the right side like I did, tap plus, scroll clocks, and then swipe across to, in my case, the first one was a clock named City 1. Tap Add Widget, and with that now selected, tap in the middle of it to set which city it shows the time for, and then tap done. After years of trying to create dashboards and iPads and things, I finally have a clock with 2 time zones like what I want, right here on my desk where I need them all day. But then that's all day. At night, oh, standby is nice. Whatever clock, right, you're showing on standby, overnight it dims and turns red. So the night comes, actually it's the ambient light sensor telling the iPhone that the room's a bit dark here, you're going to be blurring it out. It turns this kind of night mode on, and it is so good. It's right there where you can see it. Here is this standby clock. It's a regular bedside clock by your bed, but despite the iPhone being capable of shining out like the sun, it instead takes a step back and gives you a subtle and gentle red through the night. Plus, if this is going to sound like a fridge-like thing, if you don't look at your iPhone, after a while the screen turns off, and when you next glance at it, the iPhone knows you're looking at it. This is really not sinister. And it turns the red screen back on. It's using the same technology that powers, Face ID when you're unlocking things. It invisibly scans your face, recognizes that you're looking in its direction. Ooh, better get on, turn the clock back on. There is a way to look at all of that as overkill, and I wouldn't buy one of the Pro models of the iPhone just for standby, just so I could have a handy tool at my desk all day and a really good looking clock by my bed all night. But as it turns out, I did actually buy another vertically reclining MagSafe charger for my bedside so that I could use standby. So okay, now as it happens, I have my old MagSafe charger on my desk where I work during the day, and I have this new one. I should say it's a Ugreen 100-watt charging station with a flippy up lid thing. If you like the look of it as much as I did when I heard about it, I'll put a link to it in the description. It retails in the UK for £100, but it was on sale for 80 when I bought, which I convinced myself was an absolute bargain. And actually, since I bought it a week ago now, something like that, it appears to have been discontinued in the States, so I can't give you a price there, but you'll find others like it. I could worry about why it's been discontinued the second I bought one, but it's working very well for me. I like it a lot. But if you're thinking, I am now scraping the barrel for things to talk about with standby, talking about chargers instead and their different flavors, you could have a point. But there's one more really, really smart thing about standby that is relevant to all of this. Here, for example, is my iPhone in standby on the charger at my desk while I'm working. And here is my iPhone in standby on the charger by my bed. It isn't red because I'm showing you this in daylight, fine, but as you can see, it's different. And I didn't do anything about that. Stick your iPhone on that charger and it shows you this. I mean, I had to previously set it up to show me that, but then pop the same iPhone onto a different charger and it shows me this other one. And again, I had to set it up, but as you switch, it's automatic. Without my doing anything other than that initial fiddling that you saw, I have my desk clock and I have my bedside clock, just wherever they happen to be. It just does it. If you did know all of this before, why did you not comment somewhere and tell me? But also, actually, if you had commented, I'd have said, oh yeah, I read about standby, must give it a go. Do give it a go. Now I'm an evangelist for standby. I just want a little bit more. I'd like one more option. That thing with the different standby views on different chargers. What I'd really like is this two halves option everywhere, so that when I have it at my desk, I have two clocks that I need during the daytime, and by night I have one of the clocks and the date or the weather. I would like that, and it can't be done now unless I buy a second iPhone 16 Pro. Anyway, it's a small thing. I mean, it's the tiniest of things, isn't it? But standby is terribly handy, and truly it has solved my years-long attempts to have these two time zone clocks on my desk while I work. So while I go enjoy that, and you quite possibly think I'm mad to pick this to evangelize on, but you'll be doing it yourself later, let me say that that's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Now, take care of yourself. Write more. It's important. And I'll see you soon.